Hey guys, AJ Sorensen here with PLP, Public Land Productions. I've got Preston Snickers joining me today. Like I said, we're trying something new. This is all new to us. We've just got nothing better to do. So we're like, dude, why not set up a podcast? Go talk about everything that's going on right now and different things we can talk about, like how deer are reacting right now in Utah and Wyoming and what the herds are looking like and what Utah is really looking like this year.
I think this year's going to put a big impact in just new laws and the way the winter was, and that's across the whole West. I think it needs to be a topic of discussion right now because I think we're going to see a lot of changes, especially in Utah this year.
Yep, and even just the deer herds are looking good this year.
They are.
Just me going out there to Wyoming and Utah, I'm seeing way more than I have in the last 3-4 years. Like this year has been killer compared to the other years. I'm way excited.
It's going to be weird to see how the changes in units affected Utah this year for sure too. With our deer herds being so positive, and maybe I don't know, I guess you can't say positive yet because it's still early in the winter, but it's looking to shape up pretty good, I hope.
Yep, it's definitely getting warmer out. We might still have some storms come in, but dude, overall, those deer are just looking good.
Yeah, I think depending how much water we get really determines.
Yep.
Numbers are looking good. Fawns are looking healthy. I think this was a good recovery year, man.
It'll come down to water. We didn't get a lot of snowfall.
No.
So hopefully.
We'll see. By the end of February, maybe we'll have a better idea on how much water we really got.
Get some rainstorms up in here, hopefully.
See how much water we got.
So to start it off, we want to talk about some different laws that got released.
Yeah, I got passed.
Yeah, the laws that got passed. A lot of people don't know about them yet.
Yeah.
You were just telling me you just found out.
I was at the NFR and someone said something to me and I said, that's not happening. There's no way. And sure as heck, I went on and saw this new law pass. I watched the whole wildlife meeting because I was a little flabbergasted and maybe a little upset. But
I think it's amazing. So to let you guys in certain units in Utah, they are now banning rifle scopes.
Yeah, so they're calling it weapons restriction. And so how I interpreted it was the muzzleloaders have to be open percussion cap or open ignition system.
Yep.
And then your rifles can't have scopes.
And they banned muzzleloader scopes last year, correct? Because everyone started to go get those long-range muzzleloaders and scopes, and those got banned last year, and now on rifles.
Now rifles in certain units. And I think from what I read, you're not allowed to use any automatics either. So it's going to be your levers or your bolts.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who makes iron sights for bolts.
Yeah, that's
going to be crazy.
So, I mean, I think you can do, I don't know, can you do red dots? Because I think it just said no magnification, maybe.
No, I don't know. That's interesting.
You might be able to put a red dot on it. We'd have to look it up.
Well,
I don't know about that.
We'll have to look that up, and we'll talk about that next time.
Because I do think I've seen...
We should have done our research. I thought I had this down.
I want to say I've heard people putting on non-zoom optics on their muzzleloaders, like a...
Yeah, so I have a 1-power red dot. But I think for this one, it's just open sights completely.
Is that what it is?
Red dots.
Okay.
No. It's open sights is what the weapon... They redefined weapons restriction twice from what I remember. I think this is what they came up with was... open sights.
We'll have to do some research on it.
I don't even think that's,
Yeah, because that'll be interesting. What are people going to do?
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
That's going to be crazy. I think I have some of the units pull up here. One of them that hit home for me was the Cache.
Yep, right here next to home.
Oh, dude, I grew up on that mountain. I was just like, holy crap. It's a lot of public land.
And a lot of people hunt the Cache.
There is. Around here, it's crazy.
Just because it's so close to home, you can go after work and go hunt. It's one of the easier places to get to, but it is packed with people.
It is packed with people. I feel like I actually have the numbers right here. It's definitely, I say, a premium general season unit for deer. Because the genetics up there, I feel like, have gotten better. And even when we got pounded with that snowstorm in 22, 23, I feel like the genetics were still there and they bounced back pretty quick. At least that's what I experienced when I was up there.
I have not been to the Cache. I don't hunt it.
Yeah.
But I've heard it. I had people still I was going out to my main unit, which has always been killer for us.
Yeah.
And dude, there was nothing. I was like, this is crazy. I didn't even hunt last year because I was like, dude, I'm just saving up points.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not even worth going.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Region G right now. I'm gonna just keep those points stacking when that goes.
Exactly.
To put some put some perspective into your heads. The cash unit since 2021, for any legal weapon, you've always had at least 1 point. So in 21, it was a 91% chance you'd draw with 1 point.
Is that just for rifle?
Just for any legal weapon, yeah. And then 2022, it went up a little bit. It went to 95%, which 2022 was a really good year. There was really good deer numbers. And then it shot down in 23 with 77. I think that was a bad storm year too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was 77% chance you would draw the cash with 1 point.
Jeez.
And then it shot down in 24. It was a 48% chance you would draw with 1 point.
Man.
But I feel like that puts it in perspective of like that was kind of a premium general season unit.
Yep.
And they're just trying something new because I think
it'll bring this restrictions now. What their idea is, it'll bring down success rate.
Yeah.
And then that will
open
opportunities for deer herds and even the quality of deer.
We'll see. Yeah.
I think that'll be the biggest thing is the quality of deer. Yeah, it might not come into effect for the first couple of years. But maybe year 3, you're going to start seeing a change in the size of bucks that are on that land.
I think the biggest thing is you're going to be able to hunt every year if you want to. Because not everyone's going to want to hunt without weapon restriction. Yep. It is tough. I'm sure you do have some old timers or people that want to get into it and get real close to them. And kind of like archery hunt with a rifle. But I feel like it's going to open up so much opportunity.
I think the more dedicated hunters are going to be.
And I'm not for it. I'm interested to see how it goes, but
he's mad because that's his unit.
That was my unit. That's the only reason I'm mad.
See, I don't even rifle hunt, so I love it.
See, I did dedicated this year, and I wasn't. It was a fun year, man. We were chasing bucks all over, and they were good sized bucks too. Like most everyone I know shot a good decent buck up there that was at least 3 years old.
Yeah.
So I had a 3.5-year-old this year, 4 points. So. But I think I was on the small end of the unit this year for most people I know.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show it has opportunity.
I'm way excited to see what will happen on the draws, who actually is putting in for it now.
Dude.
And then to hear people that are out there hunting.
Yeah.
To see.
We'll see.
It'll be fun to just hear experiences and stuff of people hunting with iron sights.
The archery hunt stayed the same though. So that could be a killer archery hunt. That's so hard to draw the next few years, but it might be fun.
Yep, I think it'll get hit harder on the archery, I think.
I think so too.
Especially if the quality and quantity of animals are up.
Yeah. It's going to take a few years, like we said.
Yep.
I wonder how that's going to affect the units down south, because I know the Beaver split, and Beaver West is the one that went weapons restriction.
Okay.
But I don't know much about the Beaver down there. It's going to be interesting to see if there's leftover tags, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if there's leftover tags and like, say I didn't draw the unit I wanted to this year, might as well go try. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm for it or against it yet. We're just going to have to see how this first year plays out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It'd be way cool to watch.
Oh, yeah.
We're watching history right here.
Oh, dude.
Stuff that I haven't tried yet.
Watching that meeting, it was funny to hear some of the wildlife board members, because they were sitting there like, some of them are crazy. Like, my grandpa hunted with this rifle and he'd be ashamed of me. And I'm like, well, technology's technology. We can't go away from that. Like, I think your grandpa would hunt with that rifle that you have in your safe now today than his old lever action. But one of them was, this is an experiment, and if people want to hunt the unit and they know the unit, they're gonna hunt the unit because they know it.
Exactly.
And I think that's gonna be
committed.
True. Yeah, they're committed, and they don't want to really jump. So we'll see.
It's hard to go find new units,
dude,
because now you have to step out of your bubble of what you know.
Yeah.
Go learn new ground, and you have to have the time to go learn that ground. Yeah. Where now it doesn't take as much time because you know the unit.
Yeah, I wonder. It's gonna be interesting.
I'm honestly wanting to move around. We have a good solid unit, but that's where I've got friends coming into hunting that haven't done it, and they're not going to be able to draw the premium units because they don't have those points built up. So I'm like, all right, let's go adventure this year. This is going to be the year that we start to learn new ground, and I'm way excited for it. This is going to be one of my favorite years for hunting, I think.
And maybe that stems to if you want to get someone into hunting, is that that opportunity, I guess we could call it, with the weapons restriction, if they want to try to get into it, that's a perfect place to start, I guess.
Yeah,
Because there'll probably be tags left over.
exactly.
So I don't know if I'm going to go buy a new traditional muzzleloader to hunt it, but I'm sure the rifle won't be too terrible to draw either.
You'll be hunting it for sure.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that's one of the big things right now is
Yeah.
what is that going to do to the units around it though? Like, because the cache, I feel like I'm a northern guy. I feel like Manti and up is like just, I know those units better, right? I wonder what it's going to do to the Ogden, because the Ogden, like, you have to have a point to draw, if not two right now.
Yep.
And I wonder if like the guys from Cache Valley
Are gonna
are
fluctuate,
going to fluctuate
into it.
into it. It honestly could ruin. Then when I say ruin, I mean change up the point system, the point creep in the Box Elder,
Yep.
the Ogden, and maybe even the Morgan Southridge, because those are like all connected. Because I know in the South Cache you have Monty, right? And people hunt Monty on the South Cache, but maybe they'll just hop to the.
They're gonna hop the road to
hop
the
the
other
road to the
side
other
because
side.
it's just right.
It's right there.
It's pretty much they're hunting the same thing, right?
Yeah, and you can. It's an open bolt unit too, so you can double whammy maybe.
Yep.
But
With my experience, that's what we've hunted is
yeah,
the Morgan Southridge, right? It has a lot of people on that side.
yeah,
You're constantly bumping into people, which makes the hunt harder. And we've seen some good animals on it.
Yeah.
But as soon as the hunts start, because when we've been scouting it, we're like, oh, this is killer.
yeah.
And then the hunt starts, and it's like, where did everything just go? I think it's a harder. They definitely hunker down. It is one of the hardest hunts that I've done for seeing animals.
Yeah.
It was hard to go up there and not see anything.
It's gonna be fun to see these neighboring units to these weapon restrictions, man. Like it could get hard to draw for deer, but we'll see. Box Elder's gigantic, like, and I knew some people that didn't draw this year for rifle, and that might even get just worse with people wanting to put them for rifle. It's gonna get interesting, huh?
Yep.
It's gonna be fun to watch.
It's gonna be way fun. I'm excited.
It's gonna be fun to watch.
Well, what else?
With that being said, let's see here. What do you think, like, staying on this topic for a sec, what do you think, how do you think it's going to affect deer numbers, like, not in just the weapon restriction units, but the ones surrounding it? Because, I mean, there are migratory animals, like, I've seen freaking deer in the Ogden unit, and I've hunted them on the South Cache before.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Are they gonna fluctuate into the unit that's not getting hunted as hard?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, or it is. It's what? How are the deer gonna react to this because they're not gonna have the same hunting pressure on them?
Yeah. It could get interesting. It's gonna be.
Because think about it, now the deer aren't gonna be getting shot at from 300 to 500 yards away. You're gonna have to get pretty close with iron sights. Like,
You're gonna tree hunt with a rifle.
yep, with muzzleloader, I don't know if you're really shooting past 100. Like,
Maybe not even 60 with a trad
yeah,
muzzleloader.
when I got mine, it was like 40, and I was like, oh, that's kind of
That's over. Yeah, that's
40, 50
oh,
yards,
yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, whoa, dropped them, but I was just like, I don't know if I could shoot farther.
Yeah.
That's when it was a game changer when they started putting scopes on them. But
Yeah.
I got taken away pretty quick.
Yeah, I feel like that was such a hot topic for how many years? The fact that you had muzzleloader scopes and people were touching them at 500 yards and like.
People are shooting as
Putting a
far
grip
as a rifle with their muzzleloader,
Yeah.
which was insane.
And do you remember when that got voted on and got denied? Like it just like, no, we're gonna push this back, and they're like, whatever. And then it went on another year with scopes, and they're like, okay,
We got
One
taken
powers.
away. Yeah,
1 powers, man. We're just digressing, I guess. I don't know.
they're trying to make Utah better again.
Yeah.
We have the land.
We have the public land. We have the deer numbers are coming back, I hope.
So I'm all for change because right now everyone's jumping over to Wyoming and Idaho just because Utah is suffering. It really is, especially close to home on the north.
I
Like
feel so like
it's a lot of people are traveling south or they're going to different states.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, I'm all for change if it's gonna try to change
Yeah.
the quality.
And we're not gonna get it
The
right the
quality.
first time. There's no way.
No.
But we gotta start somewhere. I think that's part of the thing is we gotta start somewhere.
Exactly.
I'm moving to Idaho because of it, you know. I'm moving
Yeah.
to Idaho. God no, I tried to go get into the non-resident, buy those archery tags.
Mm-hmm.
What is that, like in December? And I hopped online and I was like, 10,000 in line, I just closed my computer.
I heard they sell out quick.
I just closed my computer and I was like, oh, dang it. Because last year when we got them, we had to drive up to Malad and we just waited in line.
Oh, really?
And we got like the last two for Unit 55 over there. And I was like, oh, this is going to be sick, right? And I'm like, it's just crazy because you do it in December, like your season just ended. And it's like, but I feel like people are moving. They're wanting to go try new things because Utah's becoming so competitive. And yeah. You probably know how it is. Your unit's what, a 4-point unit on an illegal weapon?
Wow, I don't even know.
Let's look it up.
I think it's at least 2 or 3. I've never tried to put in for legal weapons. I haven't looked at that.
You do dedicated hunter, huh?
This year, I've always been youth, and then I didn't hunt. I did just a general season archery, and then last year I just bought points so I could draw a dedicated hunter this year.
I feel like dedicated. Okay, we're gonna just say it. Dedicated is easier to draw on some units than an illegal weapon.
It is.
It is
For sure, which is
people don't realize
weird that people aren't, but maybe they don't want to be locked in. Well, here's the next thing: they're hunting 3 years, but they can only get 2 animals with dedicated hunter. So maybe that's what deters people, or they don't want to go put in the hours for when you do draw dedicated hunter. You have to go put in your hours.
Because they up the price on hours if you just buy them now.
Did they?
Yeah, I think this year was the first year they upped them. So it's like,
oof, I bet you that
It's
deters
expensive.
a lot of people.
it gets
they don't-
expensive.
Yeah.
I was dead wrong. It only takes one. You have a 22% chance of 1 point drawing.
Okay. What's like a
the
100%
Wasatch.
chance?
2 points for the Wasatch.
Okay.
But I thought it was higher. Maybe I was looking at the wrong one earlier. But I've always tried. Like I tried to hawk one year, and I could never get it. As a youth, I could never get it.
Yeah.
I guess you gotta. Those are big mountains too, though.
That's a lot of hiking.
It's a lot of hiking. People don't like that. That's why people on the South Cache like to road hunt. There's enough access. You know what I mean?
And the hardest part is there's nowhere to live, so there's not a lot of locals out there either. So everyone has to travel there, and it's like, man, is it really worth having to drive 3 hours to go out there?
Oh yeah.
And then it's like, well, now you have to make a full weekend out of it. And it's like, okay, we're hunting for 2 days, and we're driving back. Like,
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to go out there consistently compared to being right here and being able to go after work.
Yeah. I think that's important to look at when you're looking to put into is like the residents of the unit. You know what I mean? Like the population, like how many towns and how many cities and
Yeah, because you got all the local guys right there.
because Cache Valley, you're either hunting Box Elder, Ogden, or the Cache, right? And so like it's like, oh, there's your residents that are always gonna hunt that because it's their backyard. But if you're looking at these units outside of your backyard, look at the population, be like, are these residents hunting these or people traveling to hunt these
Yeah.
units? So I think that's super important.
I think either way you're gonna have people now, so it's not too much
It
of a.
doesn't matter.
It doesn't even matter to look at it, huh?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But I mean, something to consider.
Yeah.
Probably this year for sure. For sure. How do you think that muzzleloader switch went with the 1-power scopes? Did you think we lost a good number of people hunting muzzleloader this year? Like the times you went out, just like, do you think there were a lot of muzzleloader hunters?
I felt like there were definitely a jump in muzzleloader hunters when we had the scopes. When people started to put scopes on it, you started to hear more people talk about muzzleloader hunting.
Yeah.
Where beforehand, not a lot of people were, and they're not near as successful.
Yeah. It's interesting. You could look at it so many different ways.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
What else do we got going on? We got Expo coming up.
Expo's this week, yeah.
That's this week. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's gonna be
It'll
fun.
be fun to go out there and see everything that's out there.
See everybody.
Yeah.
People you don't normally see on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Tell some good hunting stories.
Anything special?
I don't know.
We've got Wild Arrow is releasing a movie that Jeremiah went and did a hunt with his bow for bighorn sheep, and it looks like a killer hunt.
That's so cool.
So I know tickets sold out quick. My whole family went and bought tickets. We're gonna go watch it. I'm pretty excited.
They rented out a whole movie theater for that.
The
Didn't
whole movie theater, dude, and the whole thing sold out.
That's JB's a good guy. Jeremiah, if anyone knows him, they love him. Like super down to earth.
Yep.
It's like, if anyone wants to have a sheep tag, Jeremiah's going to put his heart and soul into it, so it'll be cool to watch. For sure.
Just definitely to see how he processed that hunt.
Oh, yeah. That's got to be emotional.
He was very dedicated to it. And yeah, it's got to be super emotional because it's a once in a lifetime.
Oh, dude.
And to go do it as archery, nobody does that.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty rare.
I wonder what the success rate is.
Yeah, it's
in the state of Utah. It's low.
Especially look at what you're hunting when you're up there. It's all open. How are you stocking up on these sheep?
Sheep are unreal.
Crazy.
But
what do you put in for your once in a lifetime?
I'm doing moose. I was on mountain goat for so long.
Okay.
But I mean, look at the point creep. Like that goes in hand in hand. It's like every year you look at the point creep and you're like, I'm never gonna draw anything at my age. People need to start dying or stop hunting. What's gonna happen first? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm bighorn, dude. Those bighorn is so cool. And to get
so
it as
cool.
a European mount, dude. Oh, I would love that.
Bighorn sheep. They're just good looking suckers.
Yep.
Yeah. And they're, you know what brings me to bighorn sheep? Like the intoxication of it. How hard the hunt's gonna be.
Oh, it's
mentally.
Yep.
Oh, dude. I actually found that this year on all my hunts. I drew my elementary elk, and it was just mental. Like I pushed myself to the limits before the hunt even started.
It hits so much different than just being a general season hunt. Because you're like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna hunt again next year.
Yeah.
That limited entry, who knows when you're gonna hunt it next? It's so hard to draw those tags now that you really have to put in the time and the work, and it drains you mentally, especially when you're going after a certain elk that you've followed all throughout the summer, right? And then you're like, here's the time, and you're not finding them. It's got to drain you. Now you've got to move to a different animal. Yeah.
It was fun though. I mean, we were finding bulls in the summer that were cool. Like they were good 300-inch bulls, right? I had only 7 points, so I got one of the bonus tags. Like I was 1 out of 4 residents hunting this unit, and I was like, dude, the mental toll it took on me early of trying to find that bull. Like I'd lose them and then I'd find them, and it's just like, what am I gonna do? Like when opening day comes, I remember like my hunt opened on a Monday in the last week of September, and it was we showed up Friday night, scouted Saturday, scouted Sunday. I'm not gonna lie, the problem was we couldn't find that one bull, but we saw way too many others. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like what are we gonna do?
Have you ever killed a bull before this hunt too?
Never.
So now you're just trigger happy because you want a bull. That's got to be even harder to try to hold yourself out to get a higher quality bull in a limited entry unit.
Oh, dude. I don't think it hit me until Sunday when this absolute sweet 6-point walks out with like 12 cows. I'm like, where the heck did he come from? Like, let's just talk about emotion. I'm like, oh, it's starting tomorrow. Oh, okay. Let's get ready to go.
That's when it hit you, huh?
But I got lucky. They started running late. So I feel like not even 2 days before, they weren't running very hard. And then it got super cold that Sunday before my hunt. All of a sudden, the bugles started going, the cows started chirping so hard. And I feel like we couldn't look down and draw and see, okay, there's a bull. Oh, okay, there's a bull. Oh, there's the big bull and all the cows. Like, it was nonstop, man.
Yeah, that had been a fun hunt, especially with that rut hitting late. Because they weren't even hardly rutting in archery. They weren't bugling nothing. It was rough.
Yeah.
It was like, man, why aren't these bulls talking?
Yeah, and that again goes with our topic today of what to expect.
Yeah.
Like you got to plan, man, because I knew that these bulls have rutted late because the cows go into estrus a little later than they used to. I remember as a kid, my dad would early rifle hunt it with some buddies that would draw on the hunt, and they would bugle like crazy. And over the years hunting it, I'm like, I'm not hearing bugles anymore.
It's going down.
And I'm like, but I'm hearing them during the muzzleloader deer hunt, and I'm like, it's the first week of October and last week of September, like it's a little late for a rut. So I planned that when I was putting in for my own entry, and it just happened to pay off. Cow calls worked, and the bull walked 6 feet away from me behind the bush I was standing behind and go, holy crap, just put it right on him and let him have it.
That's killer.
Yeah.
So now talking about limited entry, what can we give tips to people when they're looking at, because I mean, a lot of people don't know how the limited entry system works. Do you want to explain that a little bit?
It's so dumb.
Yeah, it really is. And it's like, you really have to know how to read the points to know And you have to know what unit you're going after.
Yeah.
You're going to have to just know, hey, it's going to take this many years, and it might even be going up years as you're trying to do it.
Yeah.
With how many people are hitting it.
Hey, well, your dad's a professional at that. Like, he probably has the point system. He probably reads that crap when he's taking a morning steamer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why I knew about the weapon restrictions. He's always on the internet.
He's always on the internet doing something. With me getting my Luminentry elk, I knew from the beginning I would have a better chance of the elk because there's more Luminentry elk units and they give more tags. Like, that's just straight up. And I feel like it is competitive, but not as competitive.
I started out with deer, and I'm at 7 points. And last year I bought an elk point because I was like, why did I do deer?
Well, what are you gonna do? Like, it's confusing because it's like I have 7, I need 18 to archery hunt. What the heck?
Yep, it's crazy how many you need for deer, and I wish I would have just put it in for elk because I would have been able to draw an elk tag by now, probably.
Yeah.
With archery at least. And I'm just like, man. And that's what you guys need to look at when you're first starting out, like, especially since I have friends just coming in, or even your kids that are starting. You need to ask them, what do you want to go after? Do you want to go after deer or elk? And you need to make that decision quick so you can start building up those points.
And you want to know what caliber of animal you want to shoot.
Yep.
Do you want to wait 16 years and shoot a solid 340 to 380 bull or have a chance of that? Or do you just want to get a solid 300-inch bull in a CWMU somewhere that's like 8 points to draw? And
that's the next thing. There are a lot of good CWMUs for deer.
Yeah.
That's one thing you need to look at because, the good deer units are hard, but there are a lot of CWMUs that you could go get a nice buck with.
Yeah.
Which, that's something I need to probably look into since I have 7 points.
I feel like people don't use advantage. I'm going to say this, the downfall of that is they pick your dates for you, for sure.
The hunts aren't near as long, right?
No.
What's the average CWMU?
Probably like 4 or 5 days.
4 or 5 days.
It's what I've experienced, what I've seen online.
And can you explain what a CWMU is?
Yeah, so it's a cooperative wildlife management unit. And so what it is these landowners put up tags for their private land. For how many tags they want to manage their unit for, their ground for, they have to put so many amount of state hunter tags in as well. So say, I think Deseret, I don't know how many they do. They do a lot of deer tags, but there's a ratio there where they have to do so many state deer tags as well, put it in the draw. I think if you go to like CWMU.com, it has 4 CWMUs. I think it's Strawberry Ridge, Chimney Rock, Causey Springs, and Deseret, if I remember right. I might be wrong on the Chimney Rock, but it kind of explains everything and gives you all the dates.
Okay.
I think that's important. Like, people are dogging on a CWMU situation going, well, they get to limit your guests or they don't give you information before the hunt. Well, I think if you contact them, they'll give all the information before you put in.
It's just you have to have that communication with them. You have to reach out and contact them.
Yeah.
And it actually, I never really was like, CWMU, I'm not doing that. 5-day hunt, whatever. My dad went and did it a few years back, and he said there was so much action going on.
Really?
Like, he loved the action because it was just deer, you know? Where in a general season unit, you really got to go after them. But a CWMU, you have higher chances of, going after deer that haven't been touched, right? And you can call and see. I would call the unit before you're putting in for it to see what their kind of different rules are, because it might have to be guided, right? Some guys are like, hey, no, we have to be with you on this. Other guys are more, hey, no, like, it's free reign. We're going to give you these dates or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it's definitely something to look into, especially with how hard it is to draw anything now.
I feel like if it's a good CWMU, you're going to hear about it too.
Yep.
I feel like there's not, with social media now and everything, there's not any sleeper CWMUs.
No.
If you're not hearing about it, don't put in. Like, period. It's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
if you haven't heard from somebody or someone about that CWMU,
don't do it.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
And what was cool with my dad's is there was a guy that actually paid for that hunt.
Oh, cool.
And going at the same time. And so my dad kind of had to work with them because they didn't want my dad going in there where they were going after with this guy who already paid, right? Because I'm sure he paid quite a bit of money to go have this guided hunt in there. But he was like, dude, they were so nice. Like, hey, we're going right over here. They want to know where he was going. But he said that they just made it super easy. Like a lot of people say that they're rude maybe or something, right? They're not really wanting you in there because they have to give out so many state tags. But he said they were super nice, and it was just a fun. It was a different type of community, but he loved it.
Yeah.
He loved how nice they were and how they worked with him on where he could go and everything.
I don't think people understand that it's a business and they're running it like a business. And
Yep.
like, you're lucky to be on that.
Yes.
Like, yeah, you obviously you're paying for the hunt, you're paying for the tag, and you put in your points, but it's not your property, dude.
Yep.
Like,
They could easily have it shut down where nobody's hunting it.
you
That's
just
what
paid, you just paid to hunt a ranch. That's all you did.
Yep.
And they can have the rules, and I respect that. Like, I don't have experience with that, but I mean, I can see where they're coming from. Like,
Exactly. This is their business right here, and you need to respect it like it's their business.
and I'm sure
Don't take it for granted, pretty much.
Don't. Yeah, it's dumb. Like, you chose to put in there all the rules of how they're going to put it, because
Yep.
I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure the state frowns upon CWUs changing rules in the middle of a hunt. Like, they're pretty sure you can't do that. So CWUs are pretty flat out with what you can and can't do. And
Yeah. I think a lot of people put a bad rap on CWMUs, but it's just another way to get onto that next caliber of animal.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Yeah.
It gives more opportunities is all it's doing.
It's kind of fun to look at. It is. 7 points, you can shoot a, 116-inch deer? That's worth it to me.
Yep,
I'm
exactly.
not gonna,
You can do that more times throughout your life than waiting 20, 30 years to draw a killer limited entry legal weapon deer hunt.
I agree.
That's going to be hard too.
That's something to look at, man. Like, but don't be dumb. Don't go in. Oh, I've never heard of this CWU. I'm gonna put in for it.
Do your
Do
research.
your research.
And you can always contact them. It gives you the number to the people who have it organized, right?
Yeah.
And you can contact them and ask them how it works and how they do it, because they're all a little bit different, but they're mostly all the same, correct?
Yeah. Most the same. UtahCWU.com is the place I would go. I think it has, I can't remember, it's 4 or 3 CWUs on there, but they list everything.
Okay.
They list your season dates when you're going to hunt. They're going to list how many guests you can have, if you can stay on the property, all that stuff.
Way cool.
So I think those are 4 big CWUs. I know Strawberry Ridge and Deseret and Causey Springs, I know for sure those 3 are on there.
Mm-hmm.
There's one more, I can't remember what it is, but it's a good resource to look at.
Definitely something you have to look into when you're wanting to do as many hunts as you can.
Yeah, truthfully, I don't want to wait another 17 years like my dad did to kill a solid bull, you know what I mean? Like, so what's my option? CWU.
Yep.
Yep. What do you think you're going to do for your buddies, Waylon and those guys who are just starting to 0 points?
That's
Trying
where
to
I'm
do
like,
it.
they really want to hunt, so I'm like, man, you guys need to buy points so you can get a better unit. But
Yeah.
they're really wanting to go this year, so I'm like, look, it's going to be harder. We're going to draw units that aren't as good, and that's why you can draw them without any points. So we're going to mix it up and try some land that I've never hunted before. I'm like, all right, let's just go looking. We're going to have to spend a lot of time out scouting and learning it. That's the hardest part, is learning new land.
It is. It is. People like to stay close to home, like we've said multiple times.
But on me personally, I love learning new land. I always feel like it's better to learn as much as you can, and then you can kind of take that info and look at your unit you're usually hunting and be like, oh, I probably would have never went up here, but this kind of ground did way better here than I noticed, you know? And also, I think it's so fun and interesting to see how these deer react based on weather and everything, and it's just, I love learning how the deer react to things.
Oh yeah, you've been out on the Wyoming winter range quite a bit this year.
Yes, and it's actually been blowing my mind. I've been watching the same deer. So just this last weekend, I went to right where I've been seeing a deer that I saw a couple weekends in a row, and I've got a whole new group of bucks. I'm like, where did these just come from? So now my mind's going a million miles trying to say, where did these deer come from? So I can try to start to track them down on their path and their migration, right?
Yeah.
I love shed hunting. And I think honestly, I like shed hunting because you're out there scouting it. That's truly what it is. You're just out there looking at the deer. Like I would take shed hunting over archery hunting or anything all day. If I could just go pick up sheds all day over killing something, I totally would.
People probably can't tell you like shed hunting from the stuff we have under us.
Yeah, exactly. We've got the sheds around. We love it. It's more fun. I get the same adrenaline rush when I pick up a shed, even a 2-point, as when I'm on a deer or an elk. I definitely get way more shaky when I'm on a big deer or elk when I'm hunting. But like seeing a 2-point, just walking by, I'm like, okay, I'm not hunting after him, whatever. But if I pick up a 2-point shed, I'm like, heck yeah. That adrenaline rush just really hits me. And you really have to put in the work with shed hunting, and I think I love that.
Do you think, me mentioning that, like you've been out there in Wyoming, do you think that you watching those deer on the winter range go hand in hand what you're going to do this fall and see what potential there may be moving to the summer range?
Not with, it's a little bit harder with the Wyoming deer. I'm not really tracking them or anything. I'm really just seeing where they're dropping their sheds.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to piece it together a little bit more of their migration. And it might tell me, okay, because I'm watching the same deer every year, right? And I'm seeing how far they've migrated down based on the winter. So now I'm like, okay, these deer migrated a lot faster and already went back to where they came from because it's been warmer. And that'll make me react on my unit knowing those deer came in a lot sooner.
Yeah.
And they might migrate through a lot faster or quicker than they usually do. So that's one thing.
That's so fun looking at that. Like, this time of year is so important to like figure it out. It is.
You think no, because they're out there on their winter range, but depending on how soon they come off their winter range or stay on it, that affects your hunt for sure.
Well, think of Popeye in the Eastman's video they put out. Like the last year he was alive, everyone was trying to hunt him in the high country. Well, he never left the low country. Like he stayed
in it way longer. Yep.
Just from being old and just having a hard winter. Like that's important to look at and understand.
Yep. And definitely seeing how they're hunkering down or moving. This year we haven't had that hard of a winter, and some of my groups of deer have stayed right where they've been a month ago. And it's like, okay, well, how long are they going to stay here? And usually they're moving way down further, or they're moving back up, but they're just hunkered down right now. They're enjoying where they're at. And it's like, how will that affect our hunts now?
Yeah. Especially, okay, with you saying that, like they're hunkered down and they're looking good. I got told this the other day, and maybe it's true. Healthy does build big bucks. Like a healthy doe is gonna put a good genetic into
the nutrients it's put into that fawn, right?
Yeah, genetics only do so much, you know what I mean? But like good does build big bucks.
Yeah.
Like I think it's important what you're doing out there. You're like you get to see how the deer are looking, and
I'm mainly more just excited because there have been a lot of 4-points out there in Wyoming this year.
Really?
And now I'm like, okay, is it going to be this good in Utah, for my hunts? Because usually it goes hand in hand on the bigger winners have wiped out the more mature bucks or the older bucks, right? And so we had a lot of small bucks over these last couple of years. Now it's all 4 points. Like I'm not even finding 2 points or 3 points. It's literally all 4 points. And I'm like, holy crap. It's killer this year. The winter range is absolutely killer this year.
What do you think that age gap's like 3 to 5 right now? It's just stellar.
Yeah, all the bigger bucks that I've seen still don't look old.
Really?
They do. I don't think they're older bucks. I think they're younger bucks and they still have a lot of potential.
That's good.
So I really think, and they just are better genetics than some of the others. I think it's just that generation of bucks is now finally here at their 4-point stage of those healthy deer. And they're the ones that survive those
bad winters.
Yes, and now you've got them grown up, and dude,
they're healthy.
They're healthy. They look good.
It's gonna be fun.
And especially now that they're not getting hit hard with the winter, they're getting the nutrients they need to grow some big horns this year.
I hope that goes throughout the spring and the summer. Because I just put in for the $5 tags, and it was funny because I was picking out, I'm like, if it's a bad water year, these aren't going to have the good antler growth, and I'm just like, whatever, I'm still going to put in because they're still going to be big bucks. But depending on the water is, from what you're seeing, I'm kind of excited.
I think this year is going to be, you're going to hear everyone talking about their hunts this year. I think everything is actually going to be really good on the plus side.
It's gonna be fun.
We're going to see that next quality that we used to have 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel like social media has been pretty quiet about animals the past 2 years.
it has.
Has it been me? Or is that just
I
me?
I didn't have really any hunting or anything on my social media until this year.
Yeah.
This winter is when everything's been hitting my feed more. I don't know if I started liking the videos more or people are starting to talk about it because it's good again.
Yeah.
It's not what it was, not at all. I remember freaking picking up 100 horns as a kid with my dad. It's like, whoa. And now we're lucky to get 10 when we're out there.
Yeah.
But now seeing this year, I'm like, dude, we've got the quantity of bucks again.
Yeah.
I really think that this year hunting, everything's gonna be different, especially with these new laws going into use.
I hope even with these new laws we can still manage it well. Like up here in the north, you can have a bad winter and our whole management program goes out the door.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope we can get some feet under us before crap hits the fan, and we'll see how it goes.
I should probably check the camera. I can imagine if it like quick recording.
Yeah, you should go check.